Good morning, everyone, and welcome to the Water Break Podcast. I am Brittany, and I'm your host. I am so glad to be here this morning. I just got back from working out. I've learned that if I get up a little early and work out, I'm a little bit happier when I'm on the podcast instead of being so mopey and sad. But I wanted to share something with you guys this week before I get into my topic. It's been one of those weeks. I was going to record last week so many days that I planned to record and I just didn't. I was in one of those moods that I was just sad, like so sad, so much of the time. And I cried a lot for things that didn't really need to be cried over, but it just felt good to cry over it. You know what I'm talking about? So that was me last week. I could have totally recorded it and I could have been bawling for you guys, but I decided that I was going to take a step back and really think about what I learned and the things that affected it and things that I might be able to take from it to give to you guys. So my subject this week is going to be about friends and feeling lonely. So I know that you guys can relate. I remember I've prayed a lot about having friends, having really good friends that I can talk to and just say anything with and be crazy with. Because in like high school and college, I feel you have so many opportunities to make friends that it's not as hard as compared to when you get married. So when you're in college, you literally go to parties every single night. There's something to do all the time. Somebody's always hanging out, doing something. Even if you're just chilling at your apartment, there's something to do. And you get to socialize and just talk about everything that's going on. And even when I was in college, I had roommates that I would tell everything to. We would bond so close, so fast, because we would just see everything that we were going through and talk about it. And every single boy and all the drama that we get from all the classes we go to, just walking in the halls and meeting or seeing a cute guy, that was life. You would just talk and about everything to your roommate and just hang out and socialize 24/7. So then once you find your dream come true and you decide, hey, I'm going to marry you, you're awesome, I love you, that's pretty much the only person that you hang out with. At least for me, that was how it was. In the beginning, when we were newly married, we still kind of hung out with our friends here and there, but not as a couple usually. We would just go out with our friends on girls' night or guys' night. And it was fine. But then you add the kids on and you get super busy and you're tired all the time and you don't want to go out past 8:00. So it gets a little complicated. And this past week, I realized, I listened to a couple podcasts on making friends and feeling lonely, and I really feel like what I was feeling was loneliness. And I adore my husband. I tell him everything. He knows everything about me and he knows my true self, which is great. But there are so many things that a girlfriend can do for you. There's so many things that she can provide for you, have a match for you that you and your husband don't. Things that you talk about with her just don't gel as well talking with your husband. And so last week, there was one day I remember so distinctly. I didn't want to get out of bed. I just let the kids, they woke me up in the morning and Brant was gone and they were running around crazy and I just did not want to get out of bed. I was just so mopey and sad and I didn't know why. And I got up and I was kind of going throughout the day. And then after lunchtime, I was just like I was just done. And I sat there and I let Isla get on the tablet while Roland took a nap. And I just remember crying. I just was crying. And it was one of those cries that it was so deep. And I put so many tears and just so much energy into it. And am I proud of it? Not really. Am I glad that I did it? Yeah. Because I really haven't had a really good cry in a long time. This is super weird to talk about on the podcast, but I know that you guys are feeling me out there. Some days are just so hard and you don't want to get out of bed and you don't want to do anything. And that's okay. It's okay to have those days where you just need to cry, you just need to feel sad, and it happens. It's going to happen. And you don't have to feel bad about it. You don't have to feel guilty about it. It's okay. It's not happening to your life every single day. And if it is, then I would do something about it. But what I'm saying is I had a rough day and I really wanted to figure out why I was so sad. And Brant would come to me and he was trying to ask me what's going on, what's wrong. And I really didn't have an answer for him. I didn't know what I was feeling, why I was feeling this. And my brain was just shut off. It was done. It didn't understand my life at that point. And I was so confused. And so the next couple of days, I slowly began to feel a little bit better. I started listening to a couple podcasts and I had a really deep conversation with my husband about it. And I really do feel like it was from loneliness and not having friends that I talk to on a regular basis and just are crazy with and silly and fun. You know, you need to get out sometimes and just have that bond and connection with somebody else that totally understands you. And I really feel strongly that, because a lot of girls out there are like, well, my husband is my best friend. And I see a lot of Instagrams or TikToks that say, oh, my husband's my best friend. That's all I need. And that is so great. I was the same way when me and Brant, it was just me and him, and I would just hang out with him and I would adore him. And we just had the funnest time. But then once you have kids and you have goals and aspirations and you're busy and you just need another outlet, another girl to understand you and be there for you. There is a special bond with another woman that you can't get. You can't get from your husband. And I feel like it's really important. I have a friend, and I've heard also on other podcasts that sometimes there are therapists out there that, you know, you go to couples therapy and each couple takes a turn and talks about, oh, well, I have this want in my life. I need my husband to do this and I want them to do this. And they're expected to meet that need. And you kind of have your top 3 that you expect your husband to do for you in order to make you happy. And I hate that idea. I hate that idea that you're forcing your significant other to be somebody or do something that they don't particularly love to do. So let's talk a little bit about how we can make friends or how we can reach out, because I know it can be so nerve-wracking to get out there and talk to other women because it can be so scary. It's just like starting new. You don't have your college friends that you can just hang out with anytime. It's really starting. It's almost like you've been dating a boy for 5 years and then you break up with him and you're expected to start dating again. And you go out there, you're so nervous. You don't even know what's going on. You're so confused. You're scared. You don't know what to say. And your brain just goes crazy. And you end up just not, you go to the park and there's women there and you are just so scared. You don't want to say anything. But it's the only way that you can really make friends. Because for me, the only time I ever see other women is at the store, at the park, and at church. And right now we're barely getting into going back to church, and we're really not supposed to be chatting and hanging out and being super close to them at this point yet. And so it's really hard to make friends. And so right now I feel online communications is the best way. And for me, the way that I have been trying to reach out and make friends is my husband has a couple of friends that he hangs out with, and I try to connect with their wives. And then at work, I have a lot of nursing friends, and I feel like we connect really easily and well because we have the same job and we relate on that subject. There's a match there where we can talk about, rant about, hate about our job, and we completely understand. We know each other 100% about that topic. In the past, because like I said before, I have prayed a lot about trying to find really good friends that I can just hang out with and not be super stressed out and worried about what I'm going to say, what I'm going to do, what we're going to do. And recently, in the past couple months, I have not hung out with any women, like at all. It's rare. My sisters and my family, of course, I hang out with, but nobody outside of that. And I really wanted to make a connection with somebody else. And I have texted people from work and people that I've met at church and things like that. And I feel like every single time it falls through, they can't come, they're too busy, something happened, and it is like a knife going into my heart and twisting. It is so gut-wrenching. It's just, like I said before, dating all over again, and you get your heart broken because you got denied for a date. And nobody likes dating. Nobody likes to go out there and be denied and told that, well, I don't really want to hang out with you that bad. I'm not going to really make time for that or whatever. And it is really hard, especially when you get turned down so many times and then you're expected, well, I want to still make friends, but you get denied so much. It really hurts, and it brings down your self-esteem, like you're not important enough to hang out with, And I've tried to recultivate friendships that I've had in college, and it's really hard because in college, you're in the same stage, you're doing the same stuff, you're dating, and now everybody has families, they live in different states, some aren't married, and so you have a hard time connecting with those people. And so it's really hard because you want to go back to that college state that you were in where you had fun. It's funny because a lot of women out there think that everybody just hangs out with a bunch of women and they're all friends because you saw that one Instagram post that had another couple or another family over for dinner. But really, it doesn't happen that often. And when you do, you want to take pictures and document it because it's a rare occasion. And a lot of people think that, oh, well, you're a mom, just go hang out at the park with other moms. It's easy. It's not that hard. Well, it is hard because once you've had a couple kids, you're super awkward and weird, and you are still trying to find yourself after surviving the newborn stage and the toddler stage and chasing after them and no sleep, and you have completely lost yourself. You don't even know how to communicate with anybody other than your husband. And so it's so hard, and it's not that easy just to connect with people. And even when you try to connect with people, they don't always reciprocate that same need or want. Sometimes when I go to the park or something and I start chatting with other women, they say one or two word sentences, and it is so awkward and weird. And it really takes a lot of diligence and perseverance to keep those friendships. And you really have to put yourself out there, and you have to be vulnerable, because a lot of times people aren't going to go out of their way to be your friend, because a lot of people just rely on their sisters and their moms and their family to hang out with because it's easy. You've always been with them and there's no pressure to go out there and get friends because you always have somebody to hang out with or go to lunch with. And so there's really no need for it. But for me, I know that hanging out with friends that aren't your family really have this inner flourishing that happens. I know that when I have gotten together women or I go over to a girls' night or something, after I get home, I feel so refreshed. I feel so happy and I'm so much better with the kids and with my husband. And I have a boost of self-esteem. Like people like me and love me and care about me enough that they want to hear about my problems and they want to be there for me. And so I just have this strong need. And even this last week, I've really realized the importance of having a friend. And I decided to reach out to a girl that lives here and to see if she wanted to hang out. And she did, guys. She replied and wanted to hang out this week. And I am so pumped. I don't know if she's going to be listening to this podcast, but she probably knows who she is. And I'm really excited to hang out with her. She also has little kids and we have the same want to get out away from our kids and just talk and hang out and just be ourselves for a second so that we can be better moms and wives and just happy. So why am I even talking about this? I just want to tell you guys that having friends is something that will ultimately keep you healthy and happy longer. I really truly believe if you are feeling sad and lonely a lot, you need a best friend. You need somebody out there that will listen and understand and connect with you and be honest with you. And there have been so many studies out there that have said people with very close relationships with people other than their family, they live longer and they're so much happier. That is one thing that I wanted to get out to you guys because I love you and I just want to be happy. That's my number one goal. I just want to be satisfied with the person that I am. And I want to find ways that can fulfill me and make me happy. That's not to say that I don't want to be sad or I want to avoid all of the negative feelings and the negative circumstances that I have in my life. I don't want that because I know that all those negative and bad things that happen in my life, they help me grow. And as uncomfortable as they are and the feelings that I get from them, it's totally worth it. But on the other hand, do I want to continue to want to make goals and be happy with my life and be proud of the life that I have? 100%. And I really feel like having friends and getting yourself out there and having friends that understand you and you can connect with is one of the most important things that you can do. I was listening to a podcast of this guy that I thought was super impressive. He has, I think, 3 friends that he always hikes with, golfs with every single week. There's just a set day that they hang out for a couple of hours and they talk and they connect with each other about everything that's going on with their life. And he feels so refreshed and replenished from it. Even his wife has told him that there's no way that he's missing out on this week's hangout because it makes him a better dad. And I really do feel that way because I feel the same way when I hang out with my friends. I feel like I'm giving a service to them by listening to them and loving them no matter what. Because sometimes a lot of family members and people in your life, they don't genuinely love you. They're just looking for you to mess up. They're looking for ways to judge you and see how they can critique you. And it's a lot of pressure. It's so much pressure. And sometimes you just need somebody to listen and just to be there and understand in any way that they can. That isn't family, because you have a totally different perspective when it's your friends. And you can be silly and fun. You can dance with them. My husband hates dancing. And so it's so amazing when you can just listen to a Taylor Swift song with your friend and just jam out and not even care. And that is where like true love and acceptance comes from. And if you're feeling sad and lonely like I was this week, I hope that there's a way that you can reach out to somebody. Just get your phone out and talk, message, FaceTime a friend that you love and just catch up with them and see how they're doing. Because 9 times out of 10, that woman out there is so lonely. She hasn't talked to another woman in weeks, and she's been with her kids all day and just wants somebody to talk to. You know, I feel like a lot of times our husbands get home from work and you just need alone time, you know, and that's what you get a lot is alone time instead of time with your friends, because having time with your friends is planning and preparing and putting yourself out there to say, hey, I really want to hang out with you. Let's make a time. But it's worth it. And I know that you guys will feel so much happier and so much better, because just having a date this week with another girl gets me so excited and so pumped, and it makes me want to be better just having that idea. I don't even know what's going to happen. I hope it's fun. It's going to be great. Even if we just talk about our life, it's going to be good and we're going to feel so good, and I'm really excited. Well, that's it for my podcast today. If you guys have any questions, suggestions about topics that you want to hear about or things that you want to know about me, send me a message and I will get back to you. I hope you guys have an amazing week, and I will see you guys later. Thank you so much.